Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As always, welcome to our service. I am very serious when I say that we are blessed by the sharing of your time with us in worship. I am still Cantor Aaron, and this is another Torah teaser. For the last 2 weeks, I was making videos for the teaser from which the audio was pulled. I was referencing things you could not see. Sorry about that. This time, I am making this audio purposefully, so I will explain that I was not in my study at home as I gathered my thoughts for this teaser. I was sailing. Sailing is an easy way to maintain social distancing, which is probably why I've always enjoyed it. Sailing as an analogy may seem stretching it here a little bit, but I thought I would use it. The verses picked for this week were in the Torah, Leviticus 9:22, Torah, 2 Samuel 6:14 and 15, Brit Hadashah, Mark 9:7 and 8. They bring to mind a number of things I do as I sail, to ensure that my vessel is safe. First, I must prepare myself before I can take on a captain's responsibilities. I have to know my destination, trained and studied so I can stay on the right course in the safe waters of the channel. I must remain vigilant to the forces that would push me off course. The farther off course I get, the more dramatic the changes I must make to regain the safety of the well-marked channel. I can add much to this analogy, but I'm sure at this point you get the point. The verses picked from the reading today really do require that you read from what comes before them and after them to get the full impact of the points that I was to have drawn out of them. The Torah starts with Aaron giving a blessing. But the lead up to being able to give that blessing according to God's will is important. That point would be made tragically clear for Aaron. He had to first make an acceptable sacrifice for his own sin. We move on to the Torah, where David demonstrates through his actions the joy he feels in having the Ark of the Covenant, God's Word, in his possession, God's direction, marking a clear path to travel. And finally, the Brit Hadashah, where God identifies Yeshua and quantifies his view of him as well-pleased, and directs that he is the teacher to follow. Now, going back to the Torah, those who aspire to take on the mantle of leadership must hold themselves to the same or even higher standards before they turn to guide others. They must have a correct vision of where they are going and stay in the safety of deep water, avoiding the dangers of the shallows. We too, like David in the Torah, should be filled with joy in the fact that God has made the correct path and directions on how to follow it available through inspired leaders and the prophets past in the writings of the scriptures. We have been given the required directions to plot a safe course, that people can see the rightness of our journey, the value of the directions we use, and inspire them to take the same path. Even with the scriptures for direction and spiritual leaders to teach and guide, we will at times be carried off course by the storms, waves, and swirling winds around us that make up our daily lives. It only takes a moment of distraction to be carried into dangerous waters. It is possible to be so far off course that you can no longer see the correct path or hear spiritual leaders still on that safe path. Which then brings us to the Brit Hadashah, where the Son of God is identified, our ultimate guide and teacher. He is with us personally every step of the way, on board this earthly vessel, with which to teach and guide us through word and example. And in the end, has a power like no other, to transport us back to safe waters and to our destination if we but repent and put our faith in him. He has already paid the price for our errors in navigation made during our journey. Okay, I hope that my using the analogy of sailing did not lose or bore you. There are some really great lessons to be had in the scriptures this week on the spiritual leadership we are all called to, at some level. I hope you are inspired or at least made curious enough by my different choice of a background to get into the scriptures this week and see what they hold for you. I end again with this truism, that you are important to our God, important to the body of Yeshua, and important to your spiritual family here at Beth Israel. God bless you all.